Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to look at the mole concept. I like to begin with these terms. When we say a pair is two items. It can be a pair of shoes, a pair of trousers, but whatever we mention, a pair of apples, whatever we mention, we have two items in there. When we say a dozen of handkerchiefs means 12 handkerchiefs. So when we say a dozen, it also means 12. When we say half dozen, of course, that will be half of the 12. And so that will be six items. When we say a crate, normally a crate of X, and that is 30 items. So in chemistry, we do measurement. Chemistry is a very quantitative subject, so we do a lot of measurement. And most of the time, the numbers in chemistry are very, very, very big because the particles we deal with are very, very small. So when you take a teaspoon of water, you have billions and billions and billions of molecules of water in there. And so when we say 1 mole, that 1 mole of a substance contains 6.022 times 10 power 23 items. Just like a pair of items is just two, or a dozen is 12, 1 mole is 6.22 times 10 raised to the power 23 items. This number of particles is the same number of particles in 12 grams of carbon 12 atom. So when you take 12 grams of the carbon 12 isotope, the number of particles in that 12 grams is also equal to 6.22 times 10 raised to the power 23 particles. And so, if you are defining the mole, you can also define it in terms of the carbon 12. And if you want to define it in terms of carbon 12, then the mole is the amount of substance that contain as many entities as there are in 12 grams of the carbon 12 atom. In 12 grams of the carbon 12 atom, the particles in there are 6.022 times 10 raised to the power 23. So it means that if you have this same number of particles, then you are 1 mole. Or if you have the same number of particles in 12 grams of the carbon 12 atom, then you have 1 mole. And so 1 mole may also be defined as the amount of substance that contain as many entities as there are in 12 grams of the carbon 12 atom. Now remember, we use the word entity here. We use the word entity so that it's not like we are talking about atoms or elements. It could be anything. It could be anything. And so that is why we are using entities, not specifically atoms or ions or molecules. Okay. Now, the 6.022 times 10 power 23 is also known as Avogadro's number. And so 1 mole of a substance contains the Avogadro's number. How many atoms of helium are in 0.201 mole of helium? How many? We have established that 1 mole of helium will contain 6.22 times 10 power 23 atoms of helium, and therefore 0.201 mole will contain the 0.201 times the Avogadro's number over 1 mole, and that number will give us 1.21 times 10 raised to the power 23 atoms.